happy 2022 and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I wanted to just sit down and chit chat about some of the things that have happened in my life recently, some goals that I have for 2022, and just some things that I've learned over the last year. I feel like the beginning of a new year is always a great time to kind of just sit down and recap the year, talk about what you're excited for the upcoming year, and just kind of get in tune with yourself and become intentional with what you want to happen this year. Within that though, I do think there is this big pressure for people to have everything in life figured out and manifest these big lofty goals and just have everything mapped out perfectly. And I just want to remind you that if you are feeling a bit of pressure, it's definitely okay not to have everything figured out. In fact, most people don't actually have everything figured out. It's more of a way to become focused and become intentional on what you're working towards. So if you are feeling pressured about having everything in life figured out and having these big lofty goals set, I just want to remind you that it is okay. And I hope that you find this video comforting. I hope that you learn a thing or two, or I just hope that maybe it motivates you to think about where you want to be this coming year and what you want to strive towards. I guess I'll start off with kind of like a life update. It is my first video of the new year, so this is kind of exciting, but let's start back with the spring of last year, so about May 2021. At this time in May, I was a grad student, I was a college athlete, I was living in Minnesota, and those are like the main things that were going on in my life at that time. And then mid-May, I graduated with my master's degree in sport and exercise psychology. I finished up my collegiate career, so I ended my collegiate track season and used up all of my eligibility, including my medical redshirt year, my COVID year. And yeah, so I finished my collegiate career after 6 years, 4 years of soccer, 6 years of track and field. And man, that was one of the hardest things ever. And that's a whole video in its own entirety about what they don't tell you about life after college sports, or transitioning out of sport. But that's another big thing that happened in my life at that time. And then one of the more bigger things that happened in my life in May of last year was I decided to move from Minnesota all the way down to Houston, Texas. And so you probably have seen my I've moved to Houston vlog and my empty apartment tour that I did early June. This was like one of the biggest transitions in my life because I moved from pretty much the furthest north you can get all the way to the furthest south you can get. And within that move, I left behind everything I've ever known. I mean, I left behind my family and my friends, and I left behind so much. And it was one of the hardest things I've had to do, but also one of the most exciting things I had to do. And I knew that I had to do it for myself. I always told myself that I didn't want to be one of those people that live their life in, just a small radius. It's not that there's anything wrong with staying where you grew up or anything like that, but for me, I knew that I wanted to explore what else was out there. And I knew that it was going to be the best way for me to grow by pushing myself out of my comfort zone. And so I decided to make the move, and I am so happy that I did it because I have never been so happy with the decision. And of course it's been challenging moving to a new city, trying to meet new people, make new friends and stuff like that. At the end of the day, I think it was one of the best decisions that I made. And I don't know, I just love life here in Texas. I love life here in Houston, and I definitely see myself here for a long time. So that's a little update of May of 2021. So in the summertime around July, I celebrated my 24th birthday, which was a lot of fun. My best friend from Minnesota flew down and we just had girls weekend, and that was fun. Like, it wasn't anything crazy, but it was just a nice first birthday in a new city. So it was nice being able to celebrate that in my new environment. One of the more exciting things that happened, if we fast forward to October, I re-signed with Gymshark. So I am a Gymshark athlete, if you didn't know, and I've been an athlete for over a year now. And in October, I re-signed my contract. So I am still a Gymshark athlete, and I am so grateful for this opportunity. And it's been super fun. I mean, I got signed during COVID, so there were no Gymshark events, there were no photo shoots, there were nothing like that. But then in 2021, right before I got re-signed, I finally got to go to my first Gymshark event in LA, and I do have a vlog on that on my YouTube channel already. So if you want to see how that went, you can go ahead and find that vlog. But that was so much fun, and I met a bunch of the other Gymshark athlete girls, and it was just a great time being out there in LA and feeling like I was a part of something bigger than myself. And it was just really fun to be out there and just be around such a great group of people that I interact with all the time on social media, but to actually be able to be in person and stuff like that was just a lot of fun. So if we fast forward to December of 2021, which is one of the most recent life updates, is that I actually moved again. So I still live in Houston, but now I live right downtown Houston. I'm talking like right downtown Houston in a new apartment, and this is something that I've wanted to do for a long time. So if you saw my I moved to Houston vlog and my empty apartment tour within that video, I lived about I lived about 35 to 40 minutes out of the city, and I loved my apartment, and it was so cute, and it was small, and it was cozy, and it was perfect for me, but it was so far out from the city, and I felt like it was a good transition from Minnesota to Houston. But as far as like thriving in Houston, meeting new people, taking on new opportunities, it wasn't the best location for that, only because I was being a homebody. Because it was so far away from everything, I just stayed home a lot more, and I found myself not like exploring new opportunities, not getting to know the city as well as I wanted to. So after 6 months, I decided to move closer to the city, and now I live right smack dab downtown Houston, and it has been the best experience so far. I love it. I love my new place. I just feel like I am definitely thriving here. I've already noticed myself like reaching out to people, meeting new people, willing to go here, willing to go there, and actually being able to hang out with people and, you know, just do more things, exploring new gyms, going to the park, like stuff like that, walking downtown. Like, I don't know, I feel like I've just been doing so much more, and this is exactly what I wanted with my move to Houston. After I became comfortable with the move, I really wanted to like dive into the move and just, you know, make Houston my new home. And I feel like with my new move into my new apartment and my new space, I definitely am doing that more now. So I am really happy. I love it. It's perfect, and I definitely see myself in Houston for a while. I definitely see myself for at least 3 to 5 years. So I think Houston is going to be the place for me for some time now. Those are like the main updates that have happened in my life in 2021, and obviously out of all of those high moments and even out of some of the lows, I definitely learned a lot in 2021, and I just want to share that with you guys in case maybe you learn the same things, or maybe you feel like, gee, like what did I even learn last year? Like, did I even grow in any way? Like, maybe this will help you realize that you did learn more than you thought, and that even in our high and low moments there are things to take away from it. And I mean, the very first thing that comes to mind about what I learned in 2021 is that it is okay to outgrow people. It's okay to outgrow people in terms of taking different paths, and this was definitely a theme in my life in 2021. And I just felt like in order for me to grow personally, I had to leave behind certain friendships or certain relationships or certain bad habits that I have, or whatever the case was. It's definitely okay to outgrow people and things that no longer serve you. And again, that was just a theme that I noticed a lot in the year of 2021. I think sometimes it can be kind of scary to feel like you're outgrowing people or you're outgrowing a certain lifestyle that you've had before, but I'm just here to remind you that we are human beings and we're constantly growing and learning. And so it's definitely okay if you outgrow certain things that no longer serve you. I think that's just really important to know, and something that was a theme in my life. So that's definitely something that I learned in 2021. The next thing that I learned that I feel like a lot of people can relate to is that it is okay if your path does not look like everybody else's. And that kind of goes hand in hand with outgrowing people, but it is separate too. Like, it's okay if your path doesn't look like your childhood best friend's path, or even your college best friend's path, or your classmates' paths, or your friends, or anything. It's okay if your path of life doesn't look like somebody else's. So like I said, like, people change, and as we change, you know, we're growing and we're learning, and in that growth we're going to take on different paths and new opportunities that might take us somewhere else. It's just something that I learned last year, was that it's okay if my path doesn't look like everybody else's. Maybe I didn't want to graduate grad school and go straight into a 9-to-5 career salary paid job. Like, obviously that's something that is like taught and put on as something that you should strive towards. Like, hey, what if I don't want to work, period? Okay, so my path looks different. My path looks like creating content, coaching soccer, working here and there when I want to, stuff like that. Like, it's okay if my path doesn't look like everybody else's, because at the end of the day, it's my path, it's my life, and it's important to do what you want to do. And that's just another theme of what I've learned in 2021. I just think it's really important to, you know, fill your life with people and things that are facilitative to your current life, and not try to keep people and things that are only facilitative to your old life. You want the people in your life to be able to encourage you and support you on the new path that you're on in life, and it's okay not to hold on to, you know, the things of the past. So that's just another thing that I learned for sure. The next thing that I learned in 2021 is that self-care is not selfish. Well, this is not something that I learned in 2021, but rather it was a theme of my 2021, and something that I'm going to be carrying with me heavily in 2022. Self-care is not selfish. I'm definitely the person that is always there for other people. I love being the person that you can call if you need anything. I will stop what I'm doing to make sure that you're okay. I am that type of person. But what I realized is that at this big age, like, I need to be that person for myself, okay? And I need to be a little bit more selfish with myself and put myself first before I put others first. And again, like it sounds selfish to say, but in reality, this is not being selfish. This is self-care. Like I can't help somebody else if I haven't first took care of myself. And so I noticed in 2021 that I was always being there for people and I was always like putting others first, which is an amazing thing. But in this year, I just want to make sure that I am putting myself first and that I am putting my time into me and into myself, into my thoughts, into my emotions, and just taking care of myself before I go and extend a hand to others. Because at the end of the day, like you got to make sure that you're good. And this is just something that is really important to me. And so that's definitely something I learned in 2021 and that I will definitely be implementing in 2022. Self-care is not selfish and it's okay to put yourself first. As a matter of fact, like please put yourself first in many situations. And so yeah, that is just something that I feel like I need to do more of in this coming year. The last theme that I'm going to share with you that was very relevant in my life in 2021 is that everything works out how it's supposed to. I feel like sometimes I catch myself worrying or overthinking about how this is going to play out or how that's going to play out. And I just have to constantly remind myself that everything always works out how it's supposed to. And everything always does. I'm talking about me worried about, oh, like what's gonna happen if I move away from Minnesota and the people that I know. Like everything always works out how it's supposed to. Me worrying about, oh, what's gonna happen if I move to the city and I hate it, and everything's gonna work out how it's supposed to. Like that is just something that I always have to remind myself, and that's why I'm sharing it with you guys, because in case you need that reminder, everything always works out how it's supposed to, and you can only live life truly in the present moment. So there's no point to overthink or to make yourself anxious about the future when the present is the only place where you really exist. So everything always works out how it's supposed to. So just stay grounded, stay present. This is something that again was a theme in my life over the last year, and something that I'm definitely going to keep reminding myself in 2022 if I find myself getting a little bit too anxious about the future or whatever the case may be. So now, taking all of the things that have happened in my life, what I learned from it, what are my goals, or how am I going to use that to guide my goals of 2022. So as far as a category of like friendships and relationships, one of my goals for 2022 is to simply meet new people and make new relationships. That is something that I would like for myself in 2022, being in a new city. I definitely want to make new friends and connect with new people out here in Houston, whether it be for friendships, for business wise. I think this is something that is going to continue to help me grow, and I don't know, it's something that I feel like I'm going to place more focus on in 2022, as now that I feel comfortable here and I feel settled and everything is going well, I think it's time to put myself out there, make some new friends, and stop being shy and just, you know, go for it, meet new people. You never know what people can bring to your life. So I think that it's going to be a great highlight of this year. As far as like the spiritual / religion category, one of my goals for this year is to continue to strengthen my faith and relationship with God. That is something that is really near and dear to my heart, and I just want to continue to make that something that is a priority in every single one of my days. Just doing things that can help me build and maintain my connection with God and just be in tune with my mind and body. Another one of my goals in 2022 is to live life outside of my comfort zone. And what I mean by that is by taking on new opportunities or doing new things that I never would have imagined myself doing. So for example, rather than like shying away from things that I am scared of or that I fear, like actually going into them full force. So this year I want to do some crazy stuff this year. Like I want to go skydiving. That's going to take some time though. I got to start off small, but I want to go skydiving. I want to do more water activities. I can't swim, and Lord knows I am so scared of water, but I want to do it all. I want to do more water activities. I just want to do new things that I typically would not allow myself to do out of fear. I need to live life outside of my comfort zone, because again, that is how you grow. So that is something that I'm looking forward to doing more of in 2022. And I challenge you, do one thing each week that is outside of your comfort zone. And let's just see at the end of the year how much we've grown and how much we've expanded our comfort zone. That's just something that I definitely want to do more of this year. As far as like career and financial, I definitely want to launch a few projects that I've been working on behind the scenes that I've kind of been working on like 55% of the time. I definitely want to turn it into something that I work on like 90 to 100% of the time and really just launch them. I'm not going to spill the beans on what they are yet, just because they're not quite ready. But yes, I definitely want to start a business of some sort or go ahead and launch these projects, which kind of go hand in hand. But yeah, that is something that I want to do for my career slash financials for 2022. As far as my travel goals, I definitely want to travel out of the country this year if COVID allows. I have a trip in mind already planned for this year, and I'm just hoping that it gets to happen because, you know, with COVID, you never know. But one of my goals for 2022 is definitely to see more of the world. So traveling outside of the country this year is something that I'm definitely going to make happen. Last but not least, in terms of social media and just how I want to live my life in general, is to just start showing up as myself more without worrying about what other people think. And obviously this is something that a lot of people struggle with, but for me, I just want to be who I am without worrying like what so-and-so is going to think or what that person is gonna think. Like, who cares? Just be you, and the people that you gravitate towards are going to gravitate towards you just for simply who you are. And so that is a theme of my 2022 that I'm going to be making happen in my everyday life. The sun is about to go down now and ruin all the lighting, so I think that's enough talking for one video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video and learned a thing or two about me and what I learned in 2021 and what I'm looking forward to for 2022. Let me know down in the comments below what your goals are for 2022 and what you're looking forward to this year. Let me know if anything in this video resonated with you, and I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. If you're watching this, I hope your year has been off to a great start already, and if it hasn't, I hope that it continues to only get better from here on out. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in my next video.